Patriots are getting ready to head south and take on the Miami Dolphins on Sunday. I'm Mariah, Janos, joined by Evan Lazar. Evan, the Patriots weren't exactly in a position to draft a Tua or really any early first round quarterback in the draft this past year, 2020 for that matter. But should the Patriots be looking to draft a Tua-like quarterback going forward? We had a similar conversation about Justin Herbert, but what are your thoughts on taking a talented quarterback early in the draft for the
Yeah,
Patriots?
it's funny you mentioned the Herbert conversation. It feels like every single time they play a rookie or a second-year quarterback that was drafted in the first round, we're going to have this talk until the Patriots get that next guy. And I'm not saying that Cam Newton is not necessarily going to be the quarterback here next year, but he's clearly a short-term solution to a long-term problem. So I think the interesting conversation to be had here is that if you look at the past 4, 5, 6 drafts and you look at the quarterbacks drafted outside of the first round, there's not a lot of hits anymore on guys drafted in rounds 2 through 7. It's really Dak Prescott, and then you get into like the Gardner Minshews of the world and those types of second tier, third tier type of guys. So Dak is really the only one, I would say, and the jury's still out on some of them. Jalen Hurts might turn into a good quarterback in Philadelphia, but Dak is the only one that's really had a true success story out of the first round in years. And a big reason why is because these teams are aggressively pursuing guys in the first round. You have teams like the Chiefs or the Texans trading up aggressively to go up and get their guys. So if you're New England, the odds of you finding a quarterback, we already knew they were never going to find another. Let's strike lightning in the pan twice and get a 6th-round guy like Tom Brady. But in terms of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th rounds, it doesn't happen as often as you would think that those types of guys pan out. So really, if they're going to get a blue chip stud type of guy that can be the guy for the next decade or however you want to frame it, they're going to have to go aggressive and pick one of those guys in the first round. And I'm sure we'll have plenty of time in a later day to discuss who those guys might be. But if you just look at the strategy of both trading up or just taking the guy in your draft slot like the Miami Dolphins did, it's worked out more times than not recently, where there's not as many Blaine Gabberts and Christian Ponders and some of the busts that we've seen over the years. There's a whole lot more Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, to Justin Herbert. It's a long list of guys that have really worked out outside of just a couple that haven't.
Yeah, it will be really interesting if they actually make the move to do it. I know year after year heading into the draft, it's always like, I'm not really expecting much from the Patriots because they don't like to do those big moves, I feel like. But if there's any time to do it, it's definitely now that Tom Brady's gone. And, like you said, Cam Newton is not a long-term solution for this organization. So they really definitely should start considering that option. Patriots Press Pass is presented by Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code PressPass20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using the code PressPass20. Take the leap and join the Manscaped movement today. Now, I want to keep talking about Tua. He has been incredible in his 7 games. He's racked up over 1,200 yards through the air, 9 touchdown passes, just 1 interception. He held his own against the Chiefs. It was a moral win, a moral victory for them last week, despite the loss to the Chiefs. What are you expecting out of Tua in this game? Obviously, the Patriots have already played the Dolphins this season, but it was against Ryan Fitzpatrick. They're looking a whole lot different. Not that they looked bad with Fitzpatrick, but it's just a different situation now with Tua under center. What are you expecting out of him for this game?
Yeah, absolutely. And Tua has been really impressive. And with all the sort of things that we saw in college, pocket poise and presence and being able to move around in the pocket, throw with anticipation, throw with accuracy down the field. I think the couple of things that the Patriots can look at. First of all, it really does depend on who is available for him in his weapons. Mike Gesicki missed practice on Wednesday. Devontae Parker has a mild hamstring pull, but it's something that is going to limit him a little bit. And I think in the second, they already are also without Preston Williams, their other big body receiver. He's on injured reserve. And in that second half against the Chiefs, although Tua did put together some drives, not having Devontae Parker, I think, out there did impact his game a little bit when the Chiefs went to some aggressive man coverage, the Dolphins didn't necessarily have a guy like a Parker against man coverage that can beat their guy consistently, and I think that did rub off on Tua just a little bit. So the Patriots might catch a break with no Gesicki, no Parker, no Williams. Those are guys that definitely make it easier on any quarterback to play the position. The other thing that the Chiefs were able to do a couple of times was just confuse him with post-snap coverage rotations, which is exactly what we saw the Patriots do against Justin Herbert, dropping guys off the line of scrimmage, showing one shell before the snap, you have a single high safety before the snap, somebody rotates into making a cover 2 shell or something like that. There were some plays, he took a safety, he took another bad sack where he had some open guys down the field, where the rotation just caused him to hold the ball in the pocket just a little bit to kind of process what was going on and then be able to kind of throw the football, and he didn't have time in the pocket to make those throws. So there are some instances on tape, I think, where Tua still looks like a younger player, even though he's very poised, very accurate passer. I think that the Patriots can spin the dial on him similarly to what they did to Herbert a few weeks ago and definitely get some negative plays out of it that way.
Yeah, I mean, we've discussed it. We discussed it with Herbert. It's the true test for the rookie quarterback is going up against the Bill Belichick defense. So it will be interesting to see what happens there. For all of our Patriots coverage, head to clnsmedia.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel over at Patriots Press Pass.